Happy video day, guys. Christina, Brooke here. Today we're doing another Make Up Your Mind, and this one you guys were waiting for. A lot of you guys were waiting for this one because we are going to be diving into the brand new NATASHA DENONA Mini Crush. So if you have not been following along with my Buying Everything NATASHA DENONA, this year I announced that I will be buying everything that NATASHA DENONA releases for 1 year, the same as last year, only I'm continuing it because you guys loved it so much. So I actually told you guys this achievement, this little gossip that I had heard that the Mini Crush was going to be coming out. So I have been waiting patiently. I had been seeing the images of this and I was waiting for NATASHA to finally announce it so that I could show you guys my Make Up Your Mind. And I will tell you guys, some of you guys may be a little disappointed. Some of you guys might be excited, but some of you guys may be a little disappointed. So we've got a lot to break down in today's video, but of course, if you are not subscribed already, I would love it if you would go ahead and hit subscribe. So today we're going to be going over the new Mini Crush from NATASHA. I will be searching through my collection to mimic the color story in order to give you guys an idea of what this may look like. And then, of course, I will make my educated guess for myself on whether I think that this is something I should pick up or not. But either way, you guys know I'm going to pick it up because I have to. But I will let you guys know if I would have or not. So let's go ahead and let's start right now. Okay, so first let me show you guys my results. So this is what I came up with. This is what the palette is going to look like. So if you guys can see, I think some of these shades should be pretty spot on, and there is a reason for that. So I am going to start off the video by first telling you guys that this palette is going to come in a set, okay? So it's a $25 US set. It's going to come with a brush, kind of like Metropolis. So she's doing this new thing, palette and a brush. And similar to the Metropolis, there are a lot of repeated shades in this new mini palette. So I definitely want to warn you guys that. So if you are somebody who has a lot of NATASHA DENONA palettes, listen up because a lot of these shades are repeated. Actually, 4 of them are from existing palettes and only 1 of them apparently is a brand new shade. At least that is what we are hearing as of right now. So let me show you quickly the palettes that I used. So NATASHA DENONA's Midi Retro was used to get some of these shades. The NATASHA DENONA Metropolis was also used, and the NATASHA DENONA Safari. Now, let me just quickly share with you guys the repeated shades because some of the palettes that were the repeated shades I actually don't own. So for the first shade, Daisy is actually from the Cranberry palette. So if you own the Cranberry from NATASHA DENONA, you do have this existing shade. Lotus is coming out of the NATASHA DENONA Safari palette. So if you own Safari, Lotus is coming straight out of there. Koi is actually the new shade. This is supposed to be a brand new shade, and it is similar to a color in Safari, but it is supposed to be new. Soul is from the Midi Love. So if you own Midi Love, Soul is coming out of that palette. And finally, Claret is coming straight out of Metropolis, okay? So just so you guys know, 4 shades, it looks like they are repeated. For me personally, not making a huge difference because I do not own Cranberry and I don't own Midi Love. So technically I'm getting 3 new shades, only 2 repeats. But of course it depends on what you guys own. So let me show you how I was able to create this palette, starting with the first color. So like I said, Daisy is actually coming out of Cranberry, but I don't own Cranberry. The first shade looks like it's going to be a metallic-y pinky shade, which I don't typically own many of those. But I'll show you guys what I did to kind of see the color. I went into retro and I grabbed this color called Glitz. Now I think Glitz is going to be way too pink, and it looks like this one's going to have a little bit of like a purpley undertone or a little bit of like a hotter pink undertone. Like I'm trying to figure that one out off of her swatch. So what I did was I jumped into this palette right here from Huda Beauty and I just kind of like dabbled it right on top just to give this one like a different color so that it's not so pink. I was kind of like shifting the color between a purple, pink, and a little bit more purpley because that's kind of like what I see from the swatch. Like it doesn't look like it's going hot fuchsia. It almost looks like it's going more purpley. So that's how I transformed that color just a little bit to make it a little bit more purpley undertoned. But I will say, I think it's a very pretty color, and I looked through my collection for something like very similar, and I couldn't really find anything spot on. So the first color actually has me kind of happy because I don't own a color exact to that, at least from what I see in the swatches from Natasha, besides Glitz, which I think is more pink. So the next color I actually own straight from Natasha because I do own the color Lotus inside of Safari. So it's this beautiful pink right up here. And this is it's a very pretty soft baby pink, which I love. It's actually like a dusty rose with a little bit of like a purpley hint to it. Gorgeous color. I honestly love this color. So it's beautiful. I should use it more from Safari. I really honestly don't, but it's a beautiful color. And if it's anything like the quality of the Safari palette, I will be on board 100%. The next color is coming from nowhere. So the next color is actually the new color. It's called Koi. But I will say Natasha has similar colors to this in many of her palettes. I went into this color called Voodoo from Safari just because it looked so close. It has like that purple, but it's a dark purple. If it looks like this one, I'll be happy. I don't feel like it's super revolutionary or anything like out of this world. It's something I've seen before from her. And my swatch is like very bad, but I feel like it's gonna look something like that color and I'm okay with it. I do like the color. It's, like I said, not the most unique color, and it's definitely something that maybe you could even find in the Midi Love or maybe even the Mini Love. It's kind of similar to that. I actually want to see how close this is to Mini Love after. So this is what it looks like, and I think it's pretty. The next one I also had a harder time finding because I don't own the Midi Love. But if you own Midi Love, you have this one. But it looks so similar to Amara. So when I swatched Amara, I was like, wow, that looks so much like the swatch. I mean, Natasha's swatches are usually a little off. Like I've seen that her swatches are usually less, they're more dull than they end up turning out. So usually these colors are a little brighter. So we will see when she releases her Instagram swatches if this is brighter or not. If they release by the time this video airs, I will tell you. But this looks similar, like Amara looks like a similar color to her swatch on her website. So the last color is something that we've seen before. So it's Claret from Metropolis, and my Metropolis is rearranged. So it's this reddish tone. And yeah, this is a beautiful, very vibrant red inside of Metropolis, like a reddish orangey color. I guess it's more red, but it's a really pretty color. I have it in Metropolis. I hardly ever use it because I'm not a huge red on the eye kind of girl. But yeah, that rounds out what the palette is supposed to look like. And like I said, some of these are the actual shades. So we know out of here, at least 2 of these are the actual shades in the palette. And 3 of them are wild cards because I don't actually own them. But I mean, there's probably people who can actually really swatch this out if they own every single one of her palettes. For fun, I just kind of want to see how this compares to this palette, the Mini Love that released. If there's any like kind of similarities to it. So if we compare it to the Mini Love, I just want to kind of swatch it down here. Let's see. So the first one was kind of like one that shifted shades, and it's very hard to say it's similar because it shifts to like a gold. Like you see it pink on screen, but in person like this looks almost gold. It's really weird. So forget that dual chrome. The next one is kind of similar to Lotus, but you guys can see it goes really, really purple, and Lotus is a lot more pink, and we know that that's a for sure shade. So we know that that one is definitely not going to be exact. This color here inside the Mini Love, this one looks so similar. Like I almost feel like this is going to look kind of close. I don't see how it's going to not. Like yes, this one might be more purple, and I think this is a little bit deeper, called MUYM inside this palette, but that one's going to be kind of close, I think. Maybe a little bit less purple. So then the next one inside of Mini Love was this vibrant pinky metallic, which I guess you could say was similar to the first one here from the Cranberry palette, but this one's gonna go more purple, so definitely not the same shade. And then finally there was this pink, where this year she switched it out to a red. There is a similar vibe going between these 2 palettes, but definitely she switched out the colors. You know, the first one's gold, the next one looks pretty similar. She definitely stayed to the purple. Then she added this little kind of like pinkier version of this purple, and then instead of going the red, she went pink. So this was the more girly version, and this is a little bit more strong. So I think this is gonna be more vampy, and this was a little bit more girly. So if we erase the Mini Love from here, let's look at this. Here's the difficult part, guys. So looking straight away at this palette, this would be one that personally I would not be attracted to, okay? So it does have a little bit more of the dolled out colors that I like, but I will be honest, the dolled out colors inside of this palette, these two right here, are very similar to the dolled out colors that are right here. So they're kind of like within like the same spectrum. I feel like I can do something similar with this palette when it comes to the doll colors. But then the cool color is this really cool red, which like I said, I have it in Metropolis and I hardly ever use it. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's so cool, but I actually own it, you know? And then this one looks like it's gonna be interesting, and I think I can create some really pretty eye looks, especially with this little section right here. That's gonna be really fun. But it's not really, to me, it doesn't really look like a must-have palette. Like, it really is not. And I would say that if I did not have to buy everything from Natasha Denona, this might be one that I probably would have skipped out on, especially because there was so many repeated shades that I feel like a lot of people may not be as interested. And also, these are like those purpley, reddish, pinky kind of like looks that I'm not really into. And I did really love this one. This one was beautiful, but this one has that red. Red is like the purple to my pink to my blue. They're like not my favorite colors while I'm wearing blue all over the lids, but I am doing a first impression on an e.l.f. product today. It's not bad, but obviously, guys, I'm going to be picking this up. So I'm going to make up my mind and say, yes, I'm buying this because I have to. But I think if it was not a buying everything Natasha Denona year, I probably would have skipped this one. So that is my thoughts. I want to know from you guys right now down below, what do you guys think? And are you excited that it comes with this brush? I will tell you, I liked her brush from Metropolis. But if it's going to be the same brush released a million times over, like I don't need that blending brush like 10 times. You know what I mean? So anyways, that is all I have for today's video. Let me know down below, what did you guys think? Are you guys excited for this launch? Have you added it to your wish list? I believe she just announced it's releasing on January 28th. So thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.